Hello, how are you today? I'm here to talk to you today about the metaverse and how it's going to relate to business. And so, the metaverse has been around for a very long time. There was just a big uprising around it a couple of years ago, like in 2020, I think, when Facebook said that it was going to jump all the way into the metaverse. And then everybody started talking about the metaverse again. But way, way back in 2000, like actually 2008 or 7, there was another metaverse or 3D, they call it a 3D world called Second Life. And Second Life is where I started to get involved with the metaverse and what it meant. And so in Second Life, I would hold meetups there, just like we are meeting up for Social Media Breakfast, which is another organization I run here in Houston. We meet up in real life and on like a live stream. We would meet in Second Life and talk about social media and marketing and the juxtaposition between that and PR and all those different communications fields. And so again, when this whole metaverse topic started coming back up, it felt very old hat to me because I've done it before in the very far past. And so I wanted to say, that a lot of people are saying, because Microsoft, or not Microsoft, they are doing it too, but because Meta is not doing as well as they really had anticipated with their metaverse, that it is not something that we need to worry about, or think about as marketers. But I do believe that businesses need to be thinking about this, and some of them are doing some amazing things with a metaverse kind of 3D environment, or what I'm calling virtual reality. There's virtual reality, there's augmented reality, and I just want to talk a little bit about the difference between the two so that we're speaking the same language as we move forward. There's virtual reality, which is basically immersive, like where you're in a computer screen or using an Oculus, which I have over here, an Oculus on where you're actually immersed in the environment. Either it feels like you're immersed or you are immersed with like an Oculus. And so, or a headset, some kind of headset. It doesn't have to be an Oculus. And so that headset experience is a very different experience than like a screen experience, which also can feel very much like you're there in real life, depending on how well they've done that particular environment. So I'm going to show you a few things and I'm going to give you some ideas about what people are using this for. And I hope that sparks your imagination for how you can start to use it as well and what you should be thinking about as you move forward. So, from a business perspective, I think there's about 3 or 4 things that you might want to consider. As far as what's really happening out there right now. So I'm going to share my screen here. Hold on just a second. If I can find my cursor, I will share my screen, that is. So there's a couple of different things that people are really using this for right now. The first one is advertising. So that advertising is a huge part of it. And Snapchat specifically is using AR as an advertising platform. So they have an AR tool. And I'll go through all of that with you in this live stream. So there's advertising, there's virtual meetings. Some of you may have even attended a virtual meeting. So let me know in the comments later when you're watching this if you have. The co-working kind of environment. So some people are using virtual environments to meet together and like sort of co-work. And it doesn't, and it kind of takes out the pressure because when you're co-working on Zoom, it can feel very vulnerable because you've got the video, you've got the audio. And so you can feel like you're in a room with somebody, but not feel like they're looking over your shoulder or looking in your face. So it's actually very helpful for some of that, especially with people that have social anxiety, that kind of thing. Virtual meetings and co-working, I said, and then sales. There's another thing that I've seen happening where people are getting together with their clients and doing a sales presentation or showing them what they have to offer, kind of like going to a booth at a trade show, right? So if you go to a booth at a trade show, you can kind of look and feel and touch something without feeling like you're being forced to buy it. And that's something that they can do here. I know of a plastic surgeon who's using a virtual environment to meet with potential clients because they don't live a lot. This surgeon has a lot of people that fly in to get their procedures from all over the world. And so they meet with their future potential clients to go over their procedures in a virtual environment instead of like say a Zoom, so that they can show them a presentation, they can give them those kinds of photos, and it can feel a little more personalized to them. And I'll show you where they are doing that. I can't show you them specifically, but I'll show you what platform they're using. And then another one that I know about and that is kind of big is industry. Industry is using virtual reality for things like inspections, where a very specialized SME type of person has that means subject matter expert has to like fly all over the world to check something out. Well, instead of having to fly all over the world, why not have somebody wearing a headset and you're wearing a headset, and you could have an immersive environment where they're taking you to what you need to look at, and you don't have to leave your office to do that. Maybe you have to go out there later if you see a problem, but you don't have to go for every single time you need to have an inspection or look at something. So industry is using it to save a lot of money and to bring SMEs or subject matter experts right into the field, right from their desk. The other one is healthcare. So this is actually the first time I ever really got a taste of what that looked like. That was more of an augmented reality application that I saw then, and I'll tell you what it was. But augmented reality is not, so we've got virtual reality and then augmented reality. And augmented reality is kind of like where you are seeing something in the environment you're in. And there's a like Google Lens does this on, if you go and do some searching on a platform on your phone, you can like put something into the room. There's some really great furniture type of places that are doing this, where you can put like the furniture in your room and see what it looks like. You can try on glasses and see what they look like on your face. That is augmented reality, where that is the true reality, just with a little bit of a sheen over the top of it, something that's like layered over the top of it. And that I think is, a lot of games use this. I'm trying to think of the one where you flipped it's escaping my mind right now, but the one where you flip the ball and capture the Pokemon. Yeah, Pokemon Go was like a huge, huge hit. Like, I don't know, 5, 6 years ago, everybody was driving around with their phones, and it was actually causing issues with traffic, because people would like come to spaces, like there would be a place where you could catch a bunch of Pokemon in a park, and everybody would suddenly show up there looking for these Pokemon. You had kind of like zombies with their phones. So augmented reality is another way that you can do this. And there's really great things you could do with augmented reality in a store and all of that. So these things are different, but they're also the same. I feel like there's a continuum all the way from like say an augmented reality to a virtual immersive 3D environment. So there's just an entire spectrum. And like I said, healthcare, industry, sales, co-working, virtual meetings, advertising. I do not think it's going away. We will be using virtual and augmented reality in everyday applications. It may happen over a longer period of time than, say, something like a Chat GPT, which I talked a couple of weeks ago about, which is a huge trend right now. But I do believe that industry and different places are adopting this now. So you can think of ways that you can add some of this to your own situation and see if you can't do that. So let me share my screen with you and show you a couple of things that I think you might be interested in. So the first thing that I wanted to show you was really Second Life. So Second Life is still around, believe it or not. Here's an example of Second Life. I'm going to make this bigger so you can see it. This is their front page, but you can kind of see how realistic the figures look inside of Second Life. So this would be your avatar that you build yourself when you go into Second Life. And these are the environments. So this used to be a lot less realistic, I guess. I mean, it was pretty realistic for back when I was in it. I should have dug up a photo of myself in Second Life back then. But you can see you're walking around with people. You can put your arm around somebody. They're just kind of showing you what it looks like inside of Second Life. So this is a place where there's not really a game. It's not a game. It's just a place to go hang out, create community, that kind of thing, and remote meetings and things like that. So you can build real estate in Second Life. So it still exists, although I think some people don't realize that it does. The second thing that I wanted to show you was this this community that I'm in called Rise. And so kind of what brought this back into my thinking was Mark Schaefer. And so I'm writing a book right now with 35 other authors with Mark Schaefer. And part of what we are doing this is through a community. So it's a community run book. So these are all experts in different parts of marketing, and we're writing about our expertise. So I'm writing about social media strategy, and others are writing about whatever their area of expertise is. And so we created that through this Rise community. And one of the things that we have been doing in the Rise community is we have been creating like inside of worlds inside of a world, and I'll show you what it is in a minute. I'll show you what we're doing in real life. um, we're doing this thing called spatial, and spatial is a 3D immersive environment. And so this group meets, and they actually met yesterday. I couldn't be there because I had something else to do, but they meet every single month, once a month, in an immersive environment. So if you're interested in something like that and you're in marketing and that kind of thing, let me know and I can actually give you some information about the Rise community. But that is kind of where I got back interested in this, because we're talking about all kinds of cutting edge different things in that group and just kind of staying on top of the trends. Or you can just watch my videos because I'm talking about this stuff all the time. So the Rise community is kind of where we kind of jumped off and started experimenting with this again more recently in the marketing side of things, right? And so I wanted to show you spatial, and I think I've gone ahead and logged in for you. Sorry, I have to look up at my screens up here so I can see what I'm showing you. I'm going to show you the Rise community here, or not Rise, I'm sorry, the spatial. So here's spatial. A lot like Second Life, you can see that. And spatial is free to join. So you can come and like check this out. And you can see that they're going to be doing some new things. And so part of what we might want to consider is they're going to be doing fashion shows and all kinds of immersive things. And one of the things that's coming up, and I think it'll cycle through it in a minute, is a shopping environment, which I think is something that this is going to. Like, can you go to a shopping mall, or do you go to an immersive environment? You look at the clothes, you try them on. Maybe they even have an augmented reality part of it where you can like take a picture of yourself and like see what those clothes look like on you. Again, so I really feel like these environments are hugely going to explode because there is a business case for them. Here it is, the Boss Immersive Showroom. So what they're going to be doing here is it's just moments away from entering the Boss Immersive Showroom, a digital extension of the Boss Miami Fashion Show. Get ready to discover pieces directly from the runway in our new digital shopping adventure. So they're doing a runway show and then they have a shopping adventure on top of it. So this is it's going to render in. It'll probably be a little bit slow because I'm running the video too right now. So this goes a little faster whenever I only, doing one video. So these are real people that are in here right now. I do not have on my audio in there, but I could talk to them if I need to, and I can watch it. So these are actually real humans that are standing in this immersive showroom environment. I'm not really sure if they've actually put the clothing out yet. It looks like they haven't. They say there's the runway. People are asking some questions. Um, so they're wondering about just looking at this. Yeah. So here's the runway. You can click on this. So you saw that there was and you're hearing maybe a little music. I wonder if I can mute that. I will mute that so you guys don't have to hear me talking over it. But they had a screen, and when I clicked on the screen, it opened up this bigger screen for me to watch the video that they have for the runway, right? And so I can view all of that, and then I can go directly to this story about this particular thing if I want to. Now I'm going to stay in. And so I can stay in the environment. I can walk around. I just basically go, this is my avatar right here that I've already created long ago. So I can walk around and look at different things inside. I just click on the pavement in front of me to do so. This gives you an idea. There's a little bit of environmental noise. You can hear the water lapping. I don't know if you can hear that, but I can. And as I look around, I can actually take a look at the entire environment and see what they have to offer. Oh, and I can say, hey, what's going on up here? And I will just teleport myself up there by clicking on the pavement, if you will. It's catching up with me. But you can basically walk around in this environment and interact with it. I'm doing this through a screen here, but you can also do that with this particular thing you can do with your VR headset on. I'm not wearing that today because I'm talking to you. So I didn't put it on, but I can actually stand in here and I can walk around, like physically walk around in this environment. And what the VR headset does is it screens off a location inside of my house or wherever I am, and I can actually just kind of make a mark around my house, and it tells me where not to walk, right? So I don't run into walls and things like that. And then the VR headset will open up and show me what's around me when I get close to a boundary. So yeah, there's just a lot of stuff here. I don't think they have anything for sale yet. I think we're a little early. It's probably something new that they aren't quite done with yet. But yeah, people are just walking around. I could talk to someone if I wanted to, and we do often. And you can see a lot of the chat on the side here. So it's a lot like Zoom, but like you're actually physically in the environment, if you want to say. All right, so I'm going to leave this environment. And I'm going to tell you that I've also created a private space. My private spaces are here. And what ends up happening in my private space is, and I'm trying to get there. Sorry, it's taking its sweet little time. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do it while you guys are with me. But in my private spaces, I can meet with someone there and nobody else will hear what we're saying. So it's kind of like meeting one-on-one in a Zoom room. And so, yeah, so I have like a house in this spatial environment. And also there's other public spaces that like the Rise community has a public space, for example. Here's my spaces. I'm sorry. It did bring them up finally. So here are the spaces that I have. I have an immersive room here where I could invite you in and we could have a conversation. I have a meetup room, different ones. And then Frank invited me to and this was actually where I did a speech. So we had to create our own room and write a speech. And then we gave the speech to the rest of the community. So it was called the Rise Mini Meta Talks. And they gave me this poster, which I hung in here. And I hung up all these posters in this room, which are part of the presentation. And so if I just went over, and I'll just show you how that looks. I went over and just kind of showed you some of these. So these are all the slides for my presentation. That's what I did, is I just put up the slides. So if you wanted to walk around and just read them, here's one, for example, Web 2.0 interactive. And here were the semantic web, and I just did a nice little presentation about this and Web 2 interactive. So I think this is the actual video. So I actually put all of the slides into a video so that you could look at them. And if you make them bigger, you can see it like this. And this is my avatar versus me. And so I just put these in here and talked about the different parts of it. So for example, this is what was the beginning of the web, right? Which was the semantic web, and interactivity came around. Anyway, we just talked a little bit about the changing Web3 environment. And so it's a really cool thing. We were all here. I have actually a video of the actual thing. I'm not going to show it to you today, but I have a video of the entire presentation in the world. So we do take videos of this and replay them in the Rise community. So you can see this if you want to, just let me know. I can show you. So this spatial environment is a really cool place to do collaborative things. And I do think that, it would be great if I could jump on an airplane and go see all of these people. And absolutely, I love to connect with those people. But it also is amazing to have an opportunity to go in here and have an interactive conversation with people from all over the world. So that's the cool thing about doing this with the Rise community, is that the people in that community are from everywhere. They're all over the world. So like, to get together and actually feel like we're in one room together, this is a pretty cool way to do that. So I do think the meeting application is really powerful, especially from the communications point of view, and with clients and customers. And this is a very low bar. Like it did not take much for me to create my avatar or get into this. It's free. You can get spatial, and I'll actually put the URL in the comments if you want to go grab that. But I would say if you don't have you need to have a reason to go there. They do have events and stuff going on all the time, as you saw. So you can go in there and kind of check it out. I'm going to put it in a banner here so you can read it and see it, or go and check it out for yourself. But this is spatial right here. And this is how you get there. So it's spatial.io. And spatial is a really cool way for you to just see how it looks. Like, no, understand the metaverse, and you don't have to join the Facebook one, which is even better. So definitely grab the spatial link and go check that out. All right. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was AR as it relates to sales and advertising. So let me do that real quick because there is an option on Snapchat which is called AR Lens. And AR Lens on Snapchat, and all you have to do is just search Snapchat AR Lens on Google, and this will pull it right up for you. So this right here is a free AR development tool for creators and developers to unleash their imagination. So you can create an AR lens for Snapchat, and it's a lot like the little bubbles that go along the bottom of, like, say, TikTok or something. Or even Instagram. There's little bubbles on the bottom, and you can put a filter on top of your photos, like you can look like a rabbit or whatever. That's AR as well. So that's like adding something to your environment on your face, right? So it's the opposite way. It's going toward you. But there is also a way to go out. And I tried to do it on video, but one of the most interesting things that I saw with this AR tool recently was, and you can go there if you have Snapchat, you can go right now and look. Is that they have a really cool Cartier, which is the watch company, has a really cool filter on it right now where you click on that filter, and then it takes you into a scene where it takes you through the years of Cartier and the different watches from the different years. And then if you put your wrist in front of your camera on your phone, it will, like this, it will it will try the watch on for you. It will put the watch onto your wrist, so you can see what the watch would look like on your own wrist. And I have done it, and it's pretty cool. And that's definitely augmented reality, like putting the product on the person right there. But it's in my space, right? So I'm holding my camera up over my watch or my wrist. I have a watch on, but over my wrist, and it's putting that thing on me in my reality. So, like, yeah, in my reality, I have this watch on, but when I look through the phone, I'm getting the Cartier watch on my wrist. So you can get a feeling for how that looks on you. In the same way, there was a shopping experience I saw, and it's not there anymore, but a shopping experience I saw that was being run as an ad a while back, where you could go into a shop, just like I just went into Spatial, and you can go into a shop inside of Snapchat and look at all the different things that they have for sale and click on the thing you want, and it will take you to a web page where you can buy it. And you can also pick it up in there. And, like, it was really cool because you could you could tap on it, and it would pick up that thing and put it in your hand. So it's a really cool thing to think about, because I do believe that more and more of these will happen. And the kit that Snapchat gives you, you don't, I mean, I don't think you have to be a super professional to do it, to learn how to use it. You just have to, to spend the time and learning, or hire somebody who knows how to do it. And a lot of people are doing that. A lot of people are doing that. So I would just say, from that perspective, think about this as part of your toolkit. Okay. So just as I have a bunch of stuff here, co-working. I'm not going to show you all of this because I don't want to take too long, but I do want to show you the industrial and healthcare applications real quick, because I think those are really interesting too. So, this is one of them right here. So this is a company called Kibber, and Kibber actually specializes in remote inspection cameras, where people go to a spot, and it says augmented reality is not a toy, and it isn't. But you can wear the Oculus or whatever and go out to a place and bring somebody with you. So industry applications are huge, and I actually got a good picture of their industry. Oh, they put a nice little flop over it. This is their helmet. So, like, say you're a industrial person, you go into the field with your phone and this helmet that has this camera on it, and you can look at something like, I don't know, a factory, and go and look at, like, something that's broken or whatever. And then you can have somebody that is an expert in that thing, like maybe somebody from even the manufacturer, that can be there with you to say, hey, could you look at this and tell me what, and then you swivel your head and look at something, and they can see it because they have their Oculus on too, and they have their camera, and they feel like they're there with you. They feel like they're right there in the room with you. And so I do think this has come such a long way. I mean, this is not a huge camera setup anymore. It's like your phone, a helmet, the hat, the camera. So I'm just saying it's gotten a lot smaller. You don't have to have, like it used to be, for an immersive environment, you needed like 3 or 4 cameras around the room and they all had to come in. It was really expensive. And I'm sure this isn't cheap, but on the other hand, this is something that's a lot cheaper and a lot easier to manage, right? So from an industrial point of view, you have that too. Along with that, I wanted to show you that you also have VR in healthcare. And I told you the first time I saw this was, gosh, I don't know, 2009, 10. And my friend Jennifer Tejada, who also works with me on running the social media breakfast of Houston, she worked at MD Anderson at the time, and they had a basically a person that came in to show off this technology to them. And it was augmented reality at that time, where you could actually, they projected the internal parts of a person on top of their belly, and they did a much less invasive surgery. And now that less invasive surgery is just standard anymore, and and they're using that. And I was thinking about that this week because one of my relatives, I'll just keep it at that, had a knee replacement, and they got their knee replaced with a robot instead of with human hands. And that is using, again, that sort of augmented reality kind of technology to be able to do this. And so they're having a lot less complications, hopefully, afterwards. So far, so good on that front. And it's been really amazing. So there is a huge opportunity for healthcare. Think about meeting with a therapist. Like, would you feel more comfortable meeting with the therapist in a sort of a virtual room where you could sit down on the couch, on the virtual couch, and actually talk with that therapist without feeling like you have this screen and the video, and that all that can be a little bit overwhelming when you're talking about that kind of things? What about a consult to look at like a mole on your skin, or those kinds of things where they say, yeah, you need to come in and get that looked at, but having it in a more immersive environment. So again, this has been really, really powerful for health care, and I think it's going to it's going to continue to do that. So surgery, pain management, I'm looking at an actual list here on pain management, physical therapy, medical education. All of this can be done right on your non-immersive VR or semi-immersive or fully immersive VR. Virtual reality is going to be a part of what we have in our future. So I do believe that this is like a huge part of what's coming up. So when we talk about trends, I want you guys to know that this is going to become what we need. We need to think about this as marketers, as communicators. How can we kind of put this into what we use, into our toolkits, I guess, of what we use for our clients and for our customers and for our employers? I am really clear that this is a trend that's not going away. This is a trend that's going to continue to grow because it's just practical. In the end of the day, as the technology gets more practical, this gets more practical. And one of the things I wanted to say is that, and I'm going to pull this up so you can see it. One of the things I wanted to show you was that, we have so many young people coming up that have already got a lot of experience in these kinds of games, in the metaverse, by being in a lot of games. So one of the top ones out there is Roblox. Here's Roblox. So that's really and there's other ones too. Fortnite was on there too. I don't know if you saw that. I don't know if I had that there, but Fortnite is another one. They've done huge concerts and things like that in Fortnite recently, like now. And so kids and really young adults are already using this kind of stuff. And so if you understand that those people are coming into the workforce, they're coming up into like positions of authority, those people are going to say, yeah, I see the practical applications for this because I've been doing it since I was 12 years old or 9 years old or 8, especially in things like Fortnite and Roblox. These kids have been in these environments, these immersive environments, their whole life. My child, who is 14, he is in immersive environments all the time. My daughter was in Roblox all the time, with her friends and building things and cooperating and collaborating with people and building. And so I do think that you have to look at that too, as we have this wave of people that really get this environment. They understand how it works and they understand why we need to do it. So again, do not discount this for your communications and different kinds of things. Think about it and how you can put it into what you're doing. Meetings are the easiest way. I showed you spatial at the beginning of this, and I'll pull it back up again because I think spatial is probably the most low bar way for you to get in because it's free. Did I close it? I hope I didn't close it. A, it's free, and B, it actually gives you this entire immersive environment, right? So here's me in my immersive environment. You can see me just walking around. So again, it's free. And then they have these portals, like which are basically like links on a website. So I can go to a different portal, this was another person's presentation. So how we did this conference as we went from presentation to presentation to presentation. So we set up rooms for each presentation ahead of time, and then we traveled together through the presentations. So that's kind of how we managed this one. We traveled through all the presentations. So again, meetings are probably the low bar, easiest way to start to really experiment with this. And I really challenge you to experiment and really get into some of these things and look at them and not just discount them like, oh no, we'd never do that. I had a client once tell me when I first started in social media in 2000 and I think it was six, that they would never do social media. They were much too conservative and they were a travel and tourism brand. And as you know now, travel and tourism own social media. So again, you never know. And so keep your mind open and experiment. And again, if you're interested in the Rise community and what we're doing there, let me know. If you're a marketer, it's a good place for you. If you are a something else, let me know anyway, because I can kind of point you in the right direction for you. But again, I just challenge you to experiment. Why not? Right. So cool. Anyway, I am so glad for those of you who dropped by. Thank you for coming by today on very little notice. So I appreciate that. And for those of you who watch this in replay, definitely let me know what you think. Let me know what you think you're going to do. What do you think would be what your first step is? I would love you to put that in the comments. Put in the comments what your first step for experimenting with virtual reality and augmented reality will be. Will it be spatial? Will you go and check out spatial? I think that's a really good plan. I do not rep for spatial, but again, I think it's an easy, low bar way to get into this. And also just start to read about it and see what other industries are doing. Like I said, big industrial people are using this already as a great way, and they have a business case for it to save money on massive amounts of travel and expert people's time. So again, there's got to be a way for you to use it in your marketing plan. And I know that even if you're a small business, again, Snapchat has those AR advertising bubbles where you can actually sell things there. And by the way, Snapchat is back. If you don't think so, I mean, you think of all the major social media platforms, that one is actually surging right now. Younger people are using it every day again. And so definitely keep it open mind. And by the way, if Snapchat is doing it, that means, Meta is going to do it and other places are going to do it too. TikTok is already doing it too. I didn't talk about TikTok at all, but TikTok definitely has some augmented reality kind of stuff going on there too. So please let me know if you have any questions or any thoughts. But again, it's one of the major trends. It's the fifth trend in my 5 trend series. So you can go back in my last videos on YouTube and you will find this entire series of all of the major trends in social media marketing and also on our blog at zoeticamedia.com/blog. And I will actually put that up here for you if you want to go check that out real quick. I should have written this up ahead, but I didn't. So give me a second to type it and I will put it up on the screen. But it's all of the different blog posts are there of all of the different trends that we've been talking about. So if you're interested in keeping up with the trends, this is a good place to go. All right, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.